When I think about the Amherst Uprising, I remember sitting in Frost's library, awaiting the start of the Solidarity lock-in, and just sitting and being very reflective in the moment. I had experienced some unfortunate events with an employer on campus, and I was reminded how, in that instant, not only being a student, but a Black female student that also needed to work on campus due to financial aid, and feeling as if I wasn't listened to about my health issues. I sat there with one of my dearest friends, Kristen, as we awaited the beginning of the lock-in. It felt so reminiscent to the previous year when there was a walkout in alignment with the national walkouts to be in solidarity after the deaths of Mike Brown, Alton Sterling, and feeling as if it was co-opted by administration to invite everyone on campus. I watched as people came into library for the lock-in this time around, looking at it as a possible way to avoid their classwork or to watch and gaze as opposed to partake. And then seeing administration come in as well with their flyers and posters to be in, quote, support of the students. But it was more than support we were seeking in some sort of gesture that could be turned into a photo op. And so I remember finding the courage to stand up and saying, let's not act like the things that occur at Yale and Mizzou don't also occur here at Amherst, to which it opened up the floodgates of various students sharing their experiences, just as I had shared mine about my health situation with my employer. It was a whirlwind as alum that just so happened to be on campus at the time were so encouraging. Seeing administration have to step up and be on the fly and share their feelings and thoughts, and wondering whether or not they were going to be on, quote, our side as students. I remember hearing Dean Epstein tell us that unfortunately Biddy was on college business to go to the school in Japan, our brother-sister school. And then hearing Amir, one of my dear friends who worked at Frost during the time, behind her at the circulation desk tell her, no, this is college business. Hearing that Biddy was going to be turning around and giving us no more than 2 to 3 hours to formulate something, it was just so interesting to see how various leaders on campus went upstairs to openly discuss how we were feeling. And granted, our list of demands came together in a way that was imperfect, because nothing done, ever written, could be perfect. But it still represented our imperfect community at Amherst. I saw so many people step into their strengths, whether it be people who created the email, who created the websites on our behalf. Shoutouts to our brothers and sisters throughout the 5 colleges that came to assist us. Whether it be Kaelin taking pictures to document the time. Whether it be student leaders stepping up to go speak to administrators on a one-on-one basis and organizing various protests to show that we were serious. I really appreciated our faculty coming in support of us, seeing so many different departments send emails and letters of support to the Amherst Uprising, allowing for us to feel that much more legitimized despite the pressures we were feeling from outside outlets and media people or just randoms that were having some sort of, fair for all, free for all, to discuss what we were doing and calling us disgruntled and ungrateful students. I guess it's interesting to think about who they were envisioning. Do I look like an Amherst student to them? Would they consider me to be a student that was ungrateful, given the fact that I'm a Black female on campus who had to work and hustle her way into school and through school and just wanted to be listened to be heard, and not to feel forgotten. My story is just one of many stories, and it was interesting to hear the various stories that showed that the diverse experience is not one of a monolith. I had some really hard conversations during that time as well, with friends trying to understand each other's motives in the moment and being able to understand what our emotions, along with our academic backgrounds, were affording us or disabling us in that moment. Nonetheless, I really believe that this was a formative way of looking at the start of my second half of my time at Amherst, coming into a place where I really understood the power of my voice as well as collective voice, and more so the power of listening and being able to hear others' frustrations, desires, complaints, and how to effectively report these to those who were in positions to make proper change. While yes, we did receive some sort of institutional upgrades here and there, very fortunate for taking in Norm Jones as the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer and formalizing his department, his office, as well as trainings that were done for professors and the formation of CACSAC. There was so much more that needed to be done. And of course, it couldn't be done with the remaining 3 semesters that I had at Amherst. Even with the election of our 45th president, it felt as if Amherst was going to be taking a couple steps back. But what I will never forget about the uprising, nonetheless, given the moments that we are in, is that it was a time for the college to look at itself, to actually reflect, and to actually see who was a part of the community for who they are and what they brought to the table. And then required us to say, with that, what would we do to make sure that this was a place that we all wanted to be a part of? Thank you.